Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today we have the recap video for UFC 325. I'm not gonna lie, I guess I got something to admit. I wasn't able to watch the whole card, and this is gonna be the special occasion where I'm not gonna fully go over every single fight. And I have a fair, reason or excuse. My sister got proposed to today, guys. Let's go. Give it a round of applause for her. Such a big moment of our life. But so, that obviously happens like, once usually in a lifetime. So I kind of have to take that and run with it. So I didn't get to watch the beginning of the card. It is what it is. No complaints. Had a big moment in my life. Um, I did see the feedback on the Conor Oakley fight that he got, not Conor Oakley, but Yeezer or whatever got robbed bad. I haven't watched that fight back, so I have no idea. But I can only assume it's fucking bad if every single comment is saying it and calling it the first robbery, the first and worst robbery of 2026, all that. So, in the next fight was what? All right, then we go into the second fight of the night. Torres Finney versus Jacob Malkoun. I was still at the Mexican restaurant while I was watching this fight, so I didn't get to listen to commentary. I was talking to everyone, so I didn't have my full you know my full everything. I'm watching this fight, but all I got to see is Torres Finney get pieced up bad into a decision. It looks like he tore his ACL or something in the first round, which the fight game's a fight game. It's unfortunate, but I guess it's just an excuse. Unfortunately, Torres Finney is now 11-1. I'm pretty sure he's not undefeated anymore. Guy's first UFC loss or MMA loss in general. This is what I wrote down. Round one, Finney getting outboxed the whole round, really, really bad, and gets rocked and dropped once but survives. The jab is money for Jacob. Round two, Torres gets dropped by a 1-2 after getting outboxed again. Then Jacob gets some ground and pound and takes the back and basically controls Torres for the rest of the round. Torres gets up with 5 seconds to go. Round three, Torres comes out crazy, but it comes to nothing. He continues to get outboxed and got taken down and controlled into a loss. He did hurt himself earlier in the fight though, something with his leg, yada yada. Like I said, he tore his ACL. That's what he posted on his Instagram story. I saw that. I rated that fight 5 out of 10, and I put it was nice to see Torres take a loss, low key. Listen, I'm not a Torres Finney hater, but like low key, I want to be. Just by the way he fights, it just we all feel the same way. This fight was better. It wasn't like he was just straight up trying to shoot the whole time, over and over and over and over again into a decision. So this is definitely a step in the right direction for him in his career if he wants to stay in the UFC. So good job for him. He did take the loss tonight. Congratulations to Jacob Malkoun. Next fight of the night, Cam Rawson versus Cody Brundage. My apologies. This is what I wrote down. Round one and round two were kind of the same. Cody trying to press, but Cam playing the distance and getting out of the way and out of the shots. Cam found the TKO in round two while on Cody's back throwing hella shots. Basically just TKO'd him. Cody couldn't really do much. The shots basically were just adding up, and Cody could barely fake it. So that was that. Was also in the Mexican restaurant for this fight as well. So it is what it is. I rated that fight a 6 out of 10 just because Cam kind of, he went to town and did what he did. It was pretty entertaining. Next fight, Billy Elikana versus Junior Tafa. This is what I wrote down. Round one, Junior getting outboxed. My bad. Sorry, no. Round one, Junior outboxing Billy and landing the better shots, sometimes off counters. Drops Billy once and rocks him like 2 more times. Junior looking impressive in round one. That's good. Good start. If I'm not mistaken, this is his light heavyweight debut. It was scheduled for like last year sometime, but he had to pull out for some sort of injury, I assume, or whatever reason that may be. But anyway, yeah, he's looking really good in the first round here. Second round, Billy's boxing was looking better starting off this round. He lands a good hook cross that gets a big reaction out of the commentary, then eventually takes the back and breaks him down and locks in a body triangle. He then caught a rear naked choke and sub Junior. Junior looked butthurt, I'm not going to lie. I actually found this fight pretty entertaining. I was still in the Mexican restaurant for this fight, but I was able to write this down in between just so I could somewhat recap it because this fight was decent. I rated it 7 out of 10. Congratulations to Cam Rawson. That's what we needed. Like I said, never bet on it, Tafa, bro. This fight looked good, and I almost was proven wrong, but he came up short. I guess I wouldn't cut Justin Tafa from light heavyweight. He could just hang around, the lower side of the division, but I don't know. Why would you keep him when you can get someone better, probably, or at least give them a chance? Yeah. Next fight, starting off the main card, Quillen Salkill versus Jamie Malarkey. Beautiful performance by Quillen. My prediction was right, and it's not that crazy. He was a minus 1,200 favorite, but he did his clean sweep and brought it home. Let me tell you what I wrote down. Round one, Quillen finds the first round submission via rear naked choke, kind of a face crank. He had a good takedown initially, then Malarkey reversed it, and then Quillen finds another takedown and finds a submission. 7 out of 10. Just entertaining, perfect way to start off the card. Some Australian violence to start off the Australian card in Sydney. So this is what we needed. Quillen Salco adding to his fight streak. We all got to see the bakery tattoo on his foot now. That's good. This was a good fight. I feel bad for Jamie Malarkey, but it is what it is. Quillen got his bag, brought it home on home turf, and didn't even have to travel that far. So let's go. Next fight, Tai Tuivasa versus Taliesin Teixeira. Unfortunately, this is probably the worst fight of the night, but like in the best way. Like if you watch this fight, you know what I mean. Man, just at the end of the third round, I'm over here screaming at Ty, do something, bro. Because Taliesin Teixeira looked like he was about to fucking have one deep breath and pass out. I bet they could have literally barely given Tuivasa like a little ground and pounder TKO finish if he just landed like maybe like 5 or 6 good shots, and then that would have been unanswered from Teixeira, but he just gassed out. This is what I wrote down. Round one started off at a very decent pace, and Ty got taken down and kind of controlled, but had some decent defense on the ground, but still ate some shots. Taliesin got a few takedowns, but Ty got up every time. That was round one. Round two, they both kind of slugging it out, but Taliesin shoots and Ty defends initially, but loses the position, and Taliesin gets top position and lands some ground and pound. Ty was just eating shots. He was just looking up at him, and it was kind of crazy. Round three, they both are gassed so bad, it's funny. Start off the round hot, but then both clinch to breathe multiple times. Also, Teixeira seems like he'll fall over. DC on commentary has me dead talking shit about these heavyweights, bro. Ty couldn't do enough, unfortunately, even though he almost could have pulled off a TKO in the last seconds, but it was too late. He was too gassed out. I think Burt MMA posted it. Tai Tuivasa came out and said he was allergic to the treadmill, so it is what it is. Extended the loss streak. It was a closer fight, but Taliesin Teixeira did bring it home. Unfortunately for Ty, an Australian, there was not a shoey tonight. It is what it is. Like I said, it was like the best fight of the night, if that makes sense. It was entertaining just because they were just giving it their fucking all, but you could just see in their face and in their body language that they just couldn't. They squoze their towel, or they squeeze their towel, or whatever out, or whatever you want to say. But yeah, it was a good fight nonetheless. I rated it a 6 out of 10. Next fight, Mauricio Ruffy versus Rafael Fiziev. Wow, bro. Congratulations to Ruffy for finishing Fiziev. That's actually crazy. This is what I wrote down. Round one, pretty tit for tat. Fiziev was landing good body kicks, and Ruffy landed a good head kick. It was pretty back and forth. That was good. Nice little striking, back and forth, little tit for tat, yada, yada. Round two, Ruffy finds the finish from across and follows up with more crazy shots. Fiziev falls on the ground, and Ruffy continues to follow up. Fiziev somehow surviving a little bit and gets up, then falls again and gets TKO'd. I give it a 7 out of 10. Bro, I got this wrong completely. I was completely overlooking Ruffy. He did pull it off, which is crazy. I was entertained. Like I said, I rated this fight a 7 out of 10 because I just didn't think that was going to happen, and that shock factor really just basically made me entertained. My prediction was having Fiziev find the decision here and outstriking him for 3 rounds and kind of sunning him, but that was not the case. Ruffy deserves that. I was just watching the post-fight interview, Ruffy's interview or whatever, the live stream that UFC has, and he was in a sling, so his arm looks like it got hurt. I didn't hear necessarily what got hurt, but he was in a sling, so it's got to be something right here. So he might be out for a little bit. He was calling out, I think, Patty or Conor McGregor or like Michael Chandler or something for the White House card. Ruffy really wants on the White House card. Cannot blame him. He's very entertaining. They just might do it. Who knows? I could see him getting honestly, I fuck with him and Paddy Pimblett. Just say fuck it. Paddy did dirty. He's ranked number 5. Actually, no, that's cap. Not for Ruffy. Never mind. That's for Benoit St. Denis. That's what I felt. Never mind. I take that back completely. I don't know what you do with Ruffy, bro. I fuck with the Michael Chandler fight, but I'm pretty sure. No, yeah, Ruffy versus Michael Chandler would be good. But I think Ruffy might be ranked over Michael Chandler since this Fiziev win. So, I mean, unless he wants to fight down but Michael Chandler really doesn't deserve to fight up. Whatever they give, they'll give him. It'll be fine. Next fight, we got Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint Denis. Wow. Let me tell you what I wrote down. Round one, Dan spamming body. Oh, body teep, stabbing with his toes, and they're adding up low key. He's spamming them a lot throughout the first round. Also throwing hella head kicks. Dan Hooker almost had a ninja choke or a guillotine or whatever. They're having a wizard fight, and BSD eventually gets a hip toss takedown and stays on top of Dan. Dan gets back up, and they start slugging. Then BSD gets another takedown. BSD throwing elbow, ground and pound, and cuts Dan's forehead open, and he's bleeding a little. Just a little mark up here on his head. That was round one. Round two, straight to scrapping, and BSD keeps shooting on Dan. Dan almost gets to the guillotine, and BSD gets Dan wrapped up and throws hella elbow, ground and pound after that, because they transition into they basically like Dan I think scrambles and just ends up on bottom. Benoit's on top, landing hella elbows of ground and pound, and then he continues to stay busy on top. He's kind of trying to work on a triangle. It seems sunken in, but it's taking time. Dan's really thugging it out. And this triangle low-key was deep as fuck. He had it on side control. That shit was sunken in. Dan kind of had an angle to where he was breathing to where, he could just fight it. And so he did survive it or whatever, because Benoit did eventually go back to full guard and kind of work onto something else. But like I said, Dan is thugging it out. Then BSD just throws more elbow, ground and pound on top. BSD just starts throwing 1-2s on ground and pound and gets a TKO. Herb Dean was asking for a lot, I'm not going to lie. But I could also see why. He was trying to give Dan a chance in Australia, bruh. Dan was eating this shit. He was giving a thumbs up, but he was just unresponsive covering up. So you really can't complain about that. It honestly went a little long, in my opinion. But it was still a good scrap nonetheless. BSD brings it home. I guess... How do you say it? He spoils the show. That's what I meant to say. Damn, I don't know why it took me so long to say that. I rated that fight I guess I didn't give it a rating, but I'd honestly give it I give it a 7 out of 10. That was a really good scrap. Honestly, maybe a 7.5. Going to the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 2. The rematch. Let me tell you what I wrote down. Round one, they're both starting slow. Volk trying to go for a couple takedowns, but has no luck. He's definitely landing the better shots that connected more. Diego kind of tired and landed some. Diego kind of tried and landed some, but missed more. I personally gave Volk round one, just off volume, off of landing the better shots, just connecting more. Kind of low key classing, dude. Round two, similar to round one with a heavier pace. They're clashing like a tornado, and Diego kind of cut under Volk's eye a little bit. Volk somehow gets a guillotine attempt and wraps it up, but then slips off, and Diego ends up on bottom, then gets up, and Diego wraps a body triangle around Volk, and then ends around like that, trying to get some sort of rear naked choke, but doesn't really get it. Boom, give Volk the round, just has a cleaner performance, lands the better shots again. Round three, close round. They start off on, It's a close round. They start off good. Volk rocks Diego, and he stumbles a little. They're still scrapping, and Volk gets dropped by a tight right hook, and the round ends, bruh. Decent action within that round. I say give Diego round three because of the knockdown, and most of the judges agreed with that too, besides the third judge, whoever it was, gave Volk a 50-45, which, you could argue for that too, but it's not the craziest scorecard ever. That was round three was the best round that Diego had. Besides the knockdown, he was landing hella good shots too. But every time he would land a good shot too, Volk would come back and land some other shit. So it kind of canceled out, if that makes sense. I give that one to Diego, like I said, because of the knockdown. Round four, Volk starting off with good volume and landing that jab. Diego's landing a little bit too. Volk landing a good right hand. You can hear them as they land. And then he lands a crazy nut kick as he's backing up and pops a body kick that just kind of hits the cup. They do a little 30-second timeout for Diego. He chooses to go back in. A couple good back and forth moments between them again, but Volk's landing the better shots again. Volk round four. Round five. Volk's footwork is so good. He looks like he's floating around the cage. That's what I wrote down. Diego looks like he's hurt his foot off of a kick to the elbow. Diego finds a guillotine attempt and fails it. Volk almost gets a body lock. Takedown against the cage. Oh, no, sorry. Volk gets an almost body lock type takedown against the cage. Big takedown for Diego. He gets the back. Volk stands up. Diego can't get the body lock while on Volk's back. Diego tries to get a Kimura that turns into an armbar, and Volk's defending it, trying to stack him. And Volk gets the top position. It's the craziest position ever. It's literally like a 69 in a way, bro. Like Diego is literally looks like he's like eating Volk's ass, bro. That shit is so fucking ridiculous. But then Volk starts emoting on top of him, raising his hand, knowing damn well he won. And then it ends off with a little bit of ground and pound from Volk, and then the clock runs out. You got to give Volk round 5. I personally give it a 49-46 to Volk, but like I said, one of the judges did give it a 50-45, which, you know, you can't really argue with that either. I gave that fight a 7 out of 10. It basically just, like, was another straight-up copy of the Miami fight, or I guess the first fight between them. But Volk did what he needed to do, solidified that, and basically tied Jose Records' title defenses for featherweight. So, one more, and he sets the record. I think him being up 2-0 on Diego is big because if Diego kind of say when Volk leaves and Diego takes over and becomes champ, he will forever be Volk's son, and there will be no debate for if Diego would ever become featherweight GOAT if he even goes on a Volk run because he already got shut down twice by Volk. So this just solidifies everything, if that makes sense. Congratulations to Volk. First defense against the same dude he won the belt, not off of, but, you know, it was a vacant belt or whatever. I give this whole card, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. It, you know, it's just another Australia card, not the best of the best that they could produce. It kind of felt like a really good fight night, and I'm not trying to be like, you know, that guy or whatever. I'm not even really complaining because I still enjoyed the card nonetheless. Like, I sat here and watched it. I would have been here watching the whole thing if my sister didn't get proposed to, like I said. So I'm not really trying to, you know, throw no shots at nobody. I was very satisfied. Yeah, that's really it. That's my recap. Volk did say that he's looking towards Evloev and Murphy for the winner of that, most likely. But he did say whoever the UFC gives him is probably fine. But I know the UFC hasn't really announced Evloev Murphy officially yet, I don't think. So could have leaked that. UFC might be mad at that, but it's whatever. I'm pretty sure it's already fucking leaked anyway. It's pretty common. And I'm pretty sure they were already selling like those tickets on Ticketmaster in the UK, and that's how it basically leaked. But that's really it. I'm gonna hop the fuck off, edit this post, and go to bed. It's 1 o'clock. I gotta work all day tomorrow. So you guys have a good night. Hope y'all enjoyed, and hope y'all enjoyed the pay-per-view as well. I did. You guys have a good night. Thank you.